Hello, Jimjamatic here. Welcome to a brand new episode of Robot Wars episode reviews. We're on to semi-final 2 / the grand final because I like to bump one episode. And after this, we are done with the main series of Robot Wars Series 4. Obviously, we have the 5 specials, both the Annihilators, the Independent Celebrity Special, and Tag Team Terror. But obviously, they'll be done later and won't affect the awards, which also will be decided in a separate video coming up. Joining me is Alexthehunted.
I have to wear a suit this time. The award ceremony.
It's very, very posh. You got your bow ties and everything.
I have to give out the awards to an audience of cardboard people. I swear, Jim's just getting more and more insane by every day.
I'm very lonely. What can you say? And also, I'm not too lonely. So I got you, and I've also got SamElliott64.
Hello.
You in that cardboard box again?
No, I've had a nice 3-course meal. I'm feeling relaxed now. Yeah, Jim's treated me well. Alex, if you want to speak to my agent after this, we can arrange something to try and have you sorted out.
It's unfair that your cardboard box gets an air hole.
Actually, I know it's last once we had loads and loads of announcements. I do have one particular announcement. I don't know if you want to mention this now, Alex. You have a Kickstarter, I believe.
I do. I don't know if it's relevant for this podcast, but yes, I do have a Kickstarter. It's other thing. It's on my channel. I'm getting pretty ridiculed and also loved, hated, and ridiculed for it, but it's making money, so it's making quite a bit of money. So if you want to support it, that'd be fantastic. If not, that's up to you. I'm not going to have anything against you, but yeah, go support it.
Awesome. I'll put a link in the description for the Kickstarter, obviously. I know you're getting a decent amount already, but it's Godzilla themed. If you want to,
not for kids.
No, not for kids. No. It's no, definitely not. Well, that should be abundantly clear if you click on the Kickstarter. But should definitely check it out at least, see if it's something you'd be interested in. We've got a lot of Kickstarters happening recently, it seems like. So I just thought I'd mention that. And he's drawn semi-final 2, which again, it's not as good as the first semi-final, but it's still, I think in terms of the battle, there's not a lot of closer battles in this semi-final compared to the previous one. There are some close battles, but mostly it's usually cut and dry which one wins, unfortunately.
It's because basically most of the robots in the semi-final are from the part of the series where the drag of the series started to go. So when it was like the lower end, where it was like the middle lower end of the seeds. And not some of the robots weren't of great quality, so some of the robots that ended up winning weren't. If it was other heats, probably would have been heat finalists.
That's true.
See, for me, the way I see it is that this particular semi-final, the overall quality, in the first semi-final, I think everyone is a seed bar 3 robots.
Mm-hmm.
And those 3 robots are Dominator 2, Tornado, and
Thermidor 2.
So 2 newcomers essentially, and someone who's much, much improved. This semi-final, there's 2 unseeded robots compared to the 3 in the other one, but they're Mousetrap and Flippin Splinter.
Yeah.
So, I just feel that this episode has fewer strong machines. It has a lot of good machines, but none of them bar 1, maybe 2. Are thinking, they're going to win the series.
Yeah.
Hypnotist, the exception.
Yeah. I mean, you got Panic Attack and Hypnodisc. They're the 2 highest at 2 and 4, and then you've got Spawn of Scuttle, which is 13, aren't they? 10.
Yeah.
Wild Thing at 11. Exterminator at 22,
and then Splinter and Mousetrap not even seeded at all.
And Stinger at 30.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 30, yeah. Oh well, yeah, because Stinger's a seed, obviously. I mean, it's obvious, right? But I mean, obviously, technically, all these robots all appeared at least once in some form. Some in more successful forms, like Hypnodisc, and some in the case of Mousetrap, where they want to forget that Tri-Terabot was a robot.
Or Splinter with Ivanhoe.
Yeah, the robot it can roll over, but you have to push it twice. So
and has an axe that just falls.
Yeah, that's Series 2 for you. But I also go for the robots in order of most successful to least successful, and also we start with the one and only Hypno Disc. I mean, who saw this one coming?
Yeah.
Hypnotist.
The grand finalist, 2nd year running.
Honestly, until it fought Wild Thing, Hypnotist wasn't even
scratched.
Challenged. I mean, okay, Splinter gave it a go. We'll get to Splinter in a minute, but you look at the fights it had up to this point. You know, the Predator and Razorblade. I mean,
VMAX just
VMAX tried, but it was never going to get anywhere because ultimately it was just outclassed.
Yeah,
and obviously, you know, Splinter here tried but couldn't hold out. Whereas, you know, Wild Thing was very good. Hypnodisc was getting into a nice run of form, and honestly, having watched, you know, the whole series up to this point, I was just like, how is anyone going to beat Hypnodisc? I'm sure we'll find out.
Very much like how Carbide was. It's very much like how Carbide was in Series 9, where you're like, there's nothing that can beat this.
And so far, yes.
Honestly, when I was watching it, you know, I know it's completely unrelated, but like in Series 9, as I was watching the series go on, I was like, okay, so Carbide hasn't lost a fight yet. He's winning everything in a row. Surely, at some point, their luck's going to break, and they're just going to break down in the final or something stupid like that. But obviously, they didn't. No. Hypnodisc, we'll see what happens to them in a while. But yeah, Hypnodisc at this point was just like the class of the field. It was crazy.
It really was, and
they should have won the series. They were the best robot of the series.
On a technical level, I mean, obviously, it would have been nice to see the Chaos 2 Hypnodisc rematch, considering the Hypnodisc has improved itself a lot since Series 3, so... But...
Hypnodisc would have dominated Chaos 2 this time. It really would, because...
I mean, Chaos 2 had a relatively hard grand final in some areas.
The only reason that Chaos 2 won the first time is because Hypnodisc wasn't working properly. I think Hypnodisc...
Right.
Well, I think it would have been able to beat it even without the Stream Mech. I think had it, you know, had full control... you know, in the grand final in Series 3, you know, I think it would have been a lot closer, but who knows? But anyway, back to...
It always seems to be the thing with Hypnodisc, because during the end of a series, and also you can see in Extreme, just the wear on the robot is clearly starting to show.
But these days, before you arrive with spares, and I think Hypnodisc was just like, it used the whole same equipment throughout the whole series, and because it was dealing so much damage to itself, which they didn't obviously take into account in these days. By the end of the series, it got to a point where they were shot.
Yeah.
And I think they would have been fine this series, but they got very unlucky in the final. So we'll get to that in a bit.
Like you can see with Hypnodisc in Extreme, like you can see when what periods of those fights Hypnodisc was in were filmed, because of just how the robot was performing. Like if you look in the Annihilator or against the Nasty Warrior, you could clear it was during the end of Series 5 and Extreme, where Hypnodisc, just the electrical wear and tear on it was killing it every time it went in there.
It always suffered from trying to like maintain itself throughout a series, and I think unfortunately because Series 4 was one of the series that definitely seemed to perform the best in overall, and then of course, you know, grand finals happen. So, but it was still spectacular. Then the other robot joining it in the grand final, of course, is one of the most bullshit seeds ever, but not a bullshit robot. Definitely not. It's Stinger. As Mr. Psycho likes to call it, the massive cock and balls that is Stinger.
Well, I mean, obviously, you know, it's an upcoming Fight Court episode, Stinger versus Panic Attack. I'm sure a lot of people are excited about that one.
Yeah. I can't wait to that one.
Yeah. But I have to say, you know, Stinger, up to this point, you know, it was slowly building momentum, and as the series went on, like, I felt, you know, you look at Hypnodisc, as we've just mentioned, you know, getting weaker as the series went on. Stinger, for me, was getting stronger.
Yeah, they were definitely getting better at driving it, especially.
Yeah.
Like, they knew how to get the damage with it.
Yeah, that was why it was getting to a point where I was thinking, Stinger's going to win this, because, like, obviously, in the heat, okay, fairly lucky in round 1 with Spikosaurus and Bulldog Breed. Hammer and Tong, it's Hammer and Tong, let's face it. Bulldog Breed, okay, broke down, fair enough. Mousetrap, it dominated Mousetrap, and then Panic Attack had a really good fight with Panic Attack, and
Stinger is the perfect robot to fight Panic Attack.
Because it's not a robot it can easily just lift up, because Stinger just goes all over the place.
There's no body to lift. There's nothing to lift.
No. And you could see Panic Attack struggling that entire battle, trying to even like get any kind of grip of Stinger, but.
And it's also when they realise that it's Stinger spinning round and round is actually the better way to have it attack than just going bang, bang, bang with the mace.
It's basically what took out Mousetrap, really, just pummeling it, and also Bulldog Breed just hitting the side of the robot so much that he knocks something loose or destroys something. And I have a lot of respect for Stinger. I really love it. It's a great robot. It's just I mean, a lot of people don't seem to like it because a lot of people some people don't like thwackbots, and you know, if I say if you don't like thwackbots, look at Gabriel, Stinger's big brother, and then you'll and you will never ever say anything bad about him again, most certainly. But yeah, I love Stinger, and hey, against the grand final is absolutely brilliant, especially because when you see Stinger, especially see its Series 3 performance, you might not have thought of it too much, but then coming into the series, definitely a lot more control over as it got along and got better. So, yeah,
it's kind of like how in series, well, actually in Extreme, they were going like, oh, Thermidor is one of the most improved robots in Extreme in Robo Wars between series. I would say the same about Stinger. Stinger was so much more improved in between Series 3 and Series 4.
Oh, definitely. I mean, for one, they didn't use the pizza cutter, which is...
Yeah.
What was that thing supposed to even do? The pizza cutter.
Cut pizza.
Yeah.
Clearly, that was it. But yeah, I do love Stinger. Then one robot that was very unlucky. At least they didn't get screwed over like they did last series, but still relatively unlucky to face who they had to in the second round, was, of course, it is Wild Thing.
It's such a shame that Wild Thing never it's such a shame in the semi-finals that the pit doesn't go down.
Yeah, because Wild Thing really would have benefited from that.
Yeah,
I think they probably could have beaten Hypno Disc with
a down pit.
With a pit. But I will say this, Wild Thing, for lacking offensive weaponry, it was more of a defensive robot. It was a wedge with a little lifter.
Yeah.
To finish in the top 8, that's no disgrace, and I think that just says wonders about Nick Adams' driving. It's essentially Roadblock from series. I mean, obviously
Roadblock with some speed.
It's a bit quicker, but it's essentially just a wedge, and it finished in the top 8. I think that says an enormous amount of about Nick Adams' driving.
Mm-hmm.
How good he was with the controls, and I think just how much of a dangerous machine it was in his hands.
And also the fact that the robot is so durable. This robot will never die. Like it will constantly come at you. It is a survivor, this robot. That's one way to describe Wild Thing.
I am right in saying that Wild Thing has never been counted out as a mobile.
Don't
once.
No, but that was wasn't that against Panic Attack when it was flipped on its back?
Against Arnold A and Fluffy.
No, it wasn't counted out. It went to the judges.
I thought it was counted out.
No, it went to the judges. It was Fluffy that got counted out.
Oh yeah.
The fight with Fluffy, which one do you think is going to get counted out as it's broken down?
Yeah, Fluffy always breaks that. Come on now, guys. But I think there was one fight where it was.
Well, was it in Series 6 maybe?
It was in Series 5. It was in Series 5, and I know this because I was there.
Was it against Prize Fighter?
Yeah, it was. Refbot went in to go count it out, and then
it just got back on its wheels.
It bounced down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh right.
But anyway, carrying on.
But even then, it's just a very durable robot. I guess again, going against something like Hypno Disc is amazing.
Even Series 6 Panic Attack, which is pretty shit, it survived Razor.
Wild Thing, you mean?
Wild Thing.
Yes, I mean Series 6 Wild Thing survived Razor.
It survived 259, giving it the absolute sausage.
Yeah, it really did. I mean,
Razor.
I mean, being an inferior robot, it still managed to survive, so it definitely shows they've got good engineering skills behind it to make it durable. Considering there's some robots like Fluffy that can't survive one fight sometimes. So
Wild Thing is the Toyota Hilux of robots. It just will not die.
It won't, and eventually it'll be hung on the shelf in Top Gear someday. And then, of course, the former reigning champions robot that got very unlucky against Stinger, in a very, very good fight, though, was obviously Panic Attack. This definitely also there's going to be a future Fight Core episode with the Panic Attack, but this is probably the best version of Panic Attack in my opinion, because even the Series 5 version is a little bit slower than the Series 4 version.
It was the most likely chance of Panic Attack regaining the title.
And also it's like it seems like a theme of the Series 4, like just like how Hypno Disc had the best chance of winning the series in this series. Panic Attack had the best chance of regaining a title here, and unfortunately,
I would disagree. I would say Hypno Disc has probably had a better chance in Series 5, but we'll get to that when we get to Series 5. Panic Attack in this series was really good, wasn't it? I mean, had it gone through to face Chaos 2, that would have been one hell of a battle. But
the former champion versus the current champion.
Yeah, old versus new.
I would have loved to have seen how that could have gone. Like, obviously, we never got to see
especially
those
with
fight.
Especially with the side skirts as well, because that means only Chaos 2 could only get through the back or the front, and Chaos 2 has these, the wheels have very nice. They could have done what they did to Smidsy and get the forks in the wheel guards.
And
the wheel.
Yeah.
Because
we'll never know, unfortunately. But I think ultimately, Panic Attack in Series 4, there was no disgrace in going out to Stinger, because obviously, as we said, Stinger was just designed to beat Panic Attack essentially, and That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Very good robot. And then
That website doesn't work anymore, by the way, on the side of the robot.
Nope. No, it doesn't. I tried it actually, and I saw the one in Series 3, and I was like, nope, it didn't work. Oh well. Many Robot Wars websites, unfortunately, over the years.
Oh, did we actually mention that the other kid that was on the Panic Attack team was on the team because they won it in a competition?
Oh yeah, we did. I think we mentioned that.
It won it via the Robot Wars magazine. Christian Bridge.
How great would it have been? How bad would it have been if he was
Kim
like...
Davis's face. Imagine Kim Davis's face when this young kid turns up. He's like, it's just like, I mean, I'm sure he must have like agreed to it in the first place, but like, that's so weird. Like, why would you?
Yeah, I just think it's kind of like a weird thing though. It's like, what if he was put on a team and it was like, come, you get to join the evil Weevil team for Series 4.
Oh yay! No.
Dear, oh dear. But anyway,
enjoy your time in Robot Wars, kid.
No, good luck. Anyway, who cares? Anyway, next robot, of course. Now, I guess we'll go in progression of best to worst out of all the ones lost in the first round. Let's start with Spawner Scutter. A very unfortunate draw for Spawner Scutter.
Had Spawner Scutter had another draw, except anyone except probably Hypno Disc.
Or Wild Thing. I think Spawner Scutter probably would have lost to Wild Thing.
Maybe. But definitely they would have beaten something like Splinter or
Mousetrap
or Stinger.
Or Exterminator too, possibly. But yeah, Panic Attack was definitely the worst robot to go against. I mean, there wasn't really any point where Spawner Scutter had any control over Panic Attack. I think it was just the entire time just lifting it up, and it never had a chance because it had no chance to use its weapon. Because
it had to get to the back of Panic Attack, and Kim was just too quick.
Yeah, and
Panic Attack was just too low for Spawner Scutter at the end.
Yeah, and Spawner Scutter shows off the super reliable Scutter engineering from these guys.
Actually, no, they didn't break down. That robot works all the way, basically until the Annihilator.
I suppose it did, yeah.
That was their only ever robot that worked. That was their only ever robot that fully worked.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
it's all downhill from here, folks, except for Series 7, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
Oh, Series 7 is a spectacular case of failing.
Exploding.
I love Spawn Again in Series 7. It's the only time it actually works.
It's the Spawn Again robot by a mile,
but
and it just exploded.
Yes.
It was the most reliable until it became the most unreliable.
Yeah. Even when they make a reliable robot, it's still unreliable. So, oh well. And then obviously...
But that was more a case of bad luck. It wasn't their fault. Pistons go out eventually.
It just had to happen in the heat final. Of course it did.
Yeah.
And then obviously Exterminator 2, because they've decided to ditch the axe. No one cares about it. Put the flipper on.
They were very unlucky in this fight because, from what I understand...
I think I know what you're talking about,
the hydraulic fluid from Kill-Lot that was spilled when Spawner Scutter fought Panic Attack was still on the floor, and when they went into Kill-Lot, when they pushed Wild Thing all the way back across the arena, after that point they had no grip.
Yeah,
you could actually see there was definitely points where you could just see the robot was
just sliding all over the place.
Yeah,
desperately trying to find grip.
Honestly, I think Exterminator could have possibly won this had it not had that situation happen. Obviously,
I mean, you saw the slam it did against a Wild Thing at the start.
Yeah, it had the power.
It had more grunt. Grunt. But the thing is, Nick Adams is such a good driver. Likelihood is it would have gone the same way it would have done anyway eventually, but I think Exterminator were very unlucky.
I gotta say, it's also one of the most satisfying moments in Robot Wars is when you see dead metal cut through Exterminator.
It's beautiful. Also, I think this might be one of the contributing factors for them in the future to eventually make their lifter their self-rising arm just go outwards and like it has a little arm as opposed to like the little pokey.
Well,
because it bent.
This is now the second series in a row where the arms bend.
Yeah, pretty much. And the flipper it was just it was flailing by the end of the round.
It was like a fish that was being pulled out of the water. It was just flopping around trying to...
Every single piston coming out of it, but nothing really doing anything.
Yeah.
And then we have Mousetrap. Sorry, the Mousetrap.
The Mousetrap.
The Mousetrap.
Unreliable Mousetrap.
Yeah, I mean...
I like Mousetrap as a concept. I don't like it as a fighting robot.
You could tell pretty quickly in this battle, it barely had... It wasn't lasting, like, control-wise. Yeah. It was...
I don't know if it'll be Future Fight Court, but there's part of me that thinking it actually won against S3 in Series 5.
No chance.
No, I'm sorry. They put up a brave fight, but they didn't win. I don't think. I think it was still.
I mean, okay, it was winning right until S3 got released, and then as soon as S3 got released and smashed the side panel in, that was the end. It won.
I know.
But anyway. Mousetrap is not terrible. It's just not good.
It's just by definition the worst semi-finalist. But
it's one of those. It's the problem. It's kind of like the problem is we're still in the era of roboteers still kind of don't know what they're doing. This robot would burn itself out a lot.
As well as that, in series 4, a lot of other Heat finalists, i.e. Smidsy, Razor, Atomic, even possibly, 101 would have beaten Mousetrap.
Yeah, Atomic did beat Mousetrap at one point in the future.
Well,
but Series 4 Atomic wasn't a good machine.
No, it wasn't.
It was a bit of a shed, I'll admit. But, a lot of robots could have beaten Mousetrap in Series 4, whereas, obviously, they got drew in a Heat where the main threats went out early on.
And the Heat final was against their so-amazing robot.
And actually, it was kind of a shame in Series 5 never got that rematch against Stinger.
That would have been really cool had they made it to the Heat final, because I think Mousetrap again probably could have won that fight, but they had a really unlucky draw again in Series 5. But
definitely.
We'll get to that eventually.
Of course.
And they didn't qualify. They did not qualify. They did not bother for Series 6.
No, they didn't qualify for Series 6 and then to Black and Blue in Series 7.
Yeah.
It was like Mega Mousetrap or something like that, some name, like some ultra-sounding name. I can't remember exactly.
It's a shame that some of these semi-finals, like some of these semi-finalists, they come back for Series 5 and then just fail to qualify for Series 6. And Splinter also failed to qualify for Series 6.
Oh, it's called Mutant Mousetrap. That's it. Mutant Mousetrap. But it probably wouldn't be much different to the regular Mousetrap, I don't think. Just a desk with a spring on it. And then, of course, finally, the name literally means it, Splinter.
In Splinters.
Yeah, in Splinters. Brave attempt, but overall, what did you expect going against a robot like Hypnotist? That was kind of the way the battle went.
It was a brave 30 seconds.
It was.
And then it all went very south, didn't it?
I mean, I kind of see, like, how the scoop at the front bends? It's like basically hot plastic. There is method into that madness, I think. Because if it bends, that means it'll absorb most of the hits.
But I'd be like Gabriel's wheels.
Yeah.
But it got to a point where
it just ripped itself.
It wasn't the scoop that gave way. It was the bolts holding the scoop on that gave way.
Yeah, and there was no turning back after that. You really, I mean, that was their only line of defense, literally. After that, nothing else could survive. I mean, again, Splinter in concept is a nice-looking robot. I mean, for a first try on this particular way of doing it, I love the little arms and stuff, and just very lucky in Series 5.
I really do agree with Mike when he says it looks like something out of BattleBots.
It really does. Yeah. It's got a kind of quirky nature to it, like, just stick a unique weapon on it, and then a massive scoop, and then
and it's silver and shiny.
Yeah, silver robots, especially early BattleBots, is definitely silver. Everything's silver and chrome. But that's all the finalists for the semi-final. Again, the first battle, of course, is Stinger versus Mousetrap, and this is basically just Mousetrap getting pummeled by Stinger for about a minute.
Yeah. Mousetrap stops working at the end.
Yeah, I mean, Mousetrap didn't have any control this entire battle. It was mostly just moving a little bit back and forwards, misfiring the weapon, and then proceeds to get pummeled by Stinger again.
Did Stinger break the chains of Mousetrap's weapon, or did Mousetrap's chains just break?
I think it I think it knocked it loose because it was after one of the side hits.
I'm sure Stinger didn't help, but I think it was going to happen eventually because I think the spring for, Mousetrap's weapon broke in every single fight. So I imagine at some point it was going to break anyway. But Stinger wasn't helping.
It didn't help. It didn't help. It was against one of the best, pummeling weapons of the series. So, I mean, if it gone against something like Frenzy, it would have been just a bloodbath.
You could see the strategy for fighting Stinger that they tried to go for, which was to drive up and use the arm to grab a hold of Stinger.
But they couldn't really grab a hold of it at all.
No. It looked like they were having radio delay. If you notice, it would drive forward, stop for a bit, and then the arm would go down.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's part of the build quality, maybe. I don't know if it's also the fact that even during its heat, it wasn't really doing very well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it pretty much almost got beaten in the opening melee, didn't it, with Tiberius and stuff. So, but it was quite a straightforward fight. It's kind of what you expected, really. Stinger's more durable than Mousetrap at the end. And then of course, Spawner Scudder versus Panic Attack.
Kim Davis is driving once again, coming to the fore.
I have to commend Kim Davis for getting Spawner Scudder stuck on such an angle like that. You can get stuck straight up.
I also a design flaw of Spawn of Scutters that obviously I like the idea that the wedges like move up and down, so if it gets flipped over, it can still have the wedges.
Actually, wasn't it only one of the wedges that did that?
No, they both move.
I thought one of them was fixed.
No, they both moved, but unfortunately, because because of the fact that they both moved, the fact they got pinned by themselves essentially by their own ingenuity.
Yeah. And a great moment in this fight is when you see like Panic Attack trying to lift Spawner Scudder out, and you just see the house robots slowly like creeping in. Like, they were like a pack of lions.
They really were. It was like soon, boys.
Yeah.
Tonight we're gonna feed on Scudder.
Yeah,
it was so horrible.
Like, there's just the zoom out, and you just see them all just staring at it, waiting.
It was probably one of those perfect images in Robot Wars. It really is. Again, there was no point in this battle where Spawner Scudder was actually doing well. It was all Panic Attack and all Kim Davis's driving and excellent maneuverability. And yeah, Spawner Scudder, even though it did up their most reliable robot, it just couldn't beat such a great driver.
And for the third fight in a row... Well, actually, no, yeah. Is it the third... No, it's not. Well, yeah, for the second time this series, Kim just decided to go and attack the house robot.
Because why not?
Just go and attack shot for banter,
Yeah, banter.
Just try and lift up Killalot. Oh, wait, no, backfired, run away.
Yeah, run away. Oh, God, then we have the infamous battle, Hypno Disc versus Splinter.
I think this is the fight that everyone remembers. I mean, obviously, I know everyone remembers Robo again, but everyone remembers when they saw Splinter versus Hypno Disc for the first time.
I was shocked.
This is the fight of Robot Wars.
This is the example.
I wouldn't say the best, but it's the fight that people know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you've ever watched Robot Wars ever, like as a fan, this is a fight that everyone remembers being like, wow, what a moment this was when this happened.
I think
it was crazy. I mean, it was just like total demolition. There was nothing left. It was just a pile of bits on the floor.
And if you've seen the extended fight, the house robots trashed Splinter even more.
They cut so much.
Yeah. Also, this is a weird little detail. I mean, I've since I've seen this fight so many times, the destruction doesn't surprise me by now. Even though I've seen it so many times. But I was watching back the fight, and I just remember looking at it, and I went, "Oh yeah, Splinter is two-wheel drive."
Yeah,
it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I just thought it was so awkward.
To commend Splinter, it kept going.
It went as long as it could. I mean, it eventually just stopped.
Eventually, it was literally limping.
Yeah.
It was like, please kill me.
It had its arms hacked off, it had its face ripped off, but it was still going.
Yeah, it was. I mean, a lot of people think that Robogeddon and Stealth are worse, but to Robogeddon's credit, it was technically working. It just couldn't do anything about it. I mean, Stealth was shit. Splinter was actually relatively competent, and it was just the worst. I think either this or Mousetrap would have been the worst robots to go in the semi-final, and it had to be Splinter, unfortunately. I would love to see Mousetrap the wood going everywhere, but
I think I think anyone fighting against Hypno Disc in this semi-final would have lost. So someone had, but to have a great winner,
had to bite the bullet.
Yeah.
To have great winners, you have to have great losers, and I think Splinter were exactly that. You can't have the Hypno Discs of the world without the Splinters, and this is why people remember this fight not just for Hypno Disc's destruction, but for how Splinter tried and then ultimately just got sent to Narnia. Really
paid the price.
Yeah.
It's basically like the moment in an anime where the hero, someone like punches the hero, and the hero's like just looks at them and then beats the shit out of it.
Yeah, it was a valiant effort. I mean, again, the part that always strikes me is when Sir Killalot does his awesome little death spin, which he doesn't do as often as he should, and then he spins it, and then Splinter just falls apart on the floor.
And then they do more to it after that. In the extended fight, they push what's left of it onto the arena floor flipper.
It's just like, stop it, it's already dead.
And then they push it like when they actually finishes it with them putting it in the pit. and it's just Killbot holding a base plate with wires hanging off it.
It pretty much is. It was, although to its credit, a lot of the electronics actually were relatively salvageable. Like some of the batteries weren't, but like some of the internals actually still were. And I actually believe they used some of it for Splinter 2 in Series 5. Don't quote me on that. I think they managed to use some of it again because it wasn't a complete write-off, but it was definitely the closest we can get to Road Wars to a write-off. Apart from Mayberry Beefcake or Micromute, for closest we can get to complete write-offs in Robot Wars.
Or whatever. What was that thing that Killbot ran over and then sort of left?
That was Beefcake.
No, not Beefcake. It was in Extreme 2. It was just there. Like Jonathan goes.
Oh yeah.
On earth was that?
Oh, it was in like the Antweight. Oh no, not the Antweight. The featherweights. I don't know what it was because it didn't get any screen time, so it just died. I don't know. There's also an Antweight that got destroyed as well. However, but whatever. Off topic slightly. And then the final qualifying battle was Wild Thing vs Exterminator 2, and because of bloody oil on the floor,
hydraulic fluid.
Yeah, I mean, the initial slam by Exterminator was really impressive, getting into Shunt CPZ. Shunt side
just see wild spinning, not trying to get a grip, and obviously they couldn't.
Also, I appreciate
that was probably that just proves that Exterminator's best weapon basically on this version of Exterminator was the little scoop on the front.
Pretty much.
The pushing power. I think it had 30-mile-an-hour top speed, which is ridiculous.
25. Yeah, which is it is kind of in a way you could see Storm 2 doing that kind of a push.
Yeah, actually, I appreciated Sakilot bearing all by throwing his breastplate away, just because why not? Yeah. And then you could see Exterminator not getting enough grip on the entire time. And basically, I think as soon as that happened, Wild Thing pretty much had the fight. Yeah, it was just a matter of time.
There was some amazing driving by Nick Allen. The best part would definitely be when he had Exterminator up on the wedge, and then he spun right underneath it. Yeah.
Oh, that's just pure filth, isn't it? There's no need for that. Stop it, Nick.
That's like those compilations that people do with like satisfying moments. That should just be in there. It's like,
where it just pirouettes perfectly underneath it and just tosses it over. It was wonderful.
It's definitely up there with Firestorm in against Panic Attack in Series 3, where it just elegantly went right underneath Panic Attack and flipped onto the wall. That was just...
Oh yeah, the way it just like slaloms.
Yeah.
Really nice. Yeah.
It's beautiful. That's all my favourite moments of Series 3. But
oh god, dear god! Again, going back to Dead Metal cutting through Exterminator, it was like Jonathan was dead on right. It was like hot knife through body. There was no resistance.
No, it was straight through.
It was like it was just a knife going through paper.
It was like a Series 2 robot, just going straight through it. But yeah, everything stopped working at Exterminator. The flipper couldn't flip it over, the self-rider's bent. Which made, once again, put a base plate on your robots. Is it really that hard, Exterminator boys? Because you lost last time because you had no base plate.
In these days, 80 kilos was the weight limit. They were probably close on weight.
Maybe.
And that's probably the thing, like, because Series 3, you could get away with the weight limit, like, if you're 3 kilos over, because I think, like, wasn't Big Cheese, like, 83 kilos?
Well, you're allowed up to 83. 83 was, like, the ultimate
and Series 4 came around, so when Series 4 came around, they were, like, really dead strict on it. Like, there's somewhere with, like, if you notice, like, Atomic...
Dominator 2's axe.
In their interview, you could see, like, it had side armor on, and then in the fights, it had to get it removed.
They had no armor at all. It was just a frame.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dick Adams definitely proved his driving skills were just brilliant. I mean, albeit with a slightly oiled up Exterminator, but still, very, very good victory. No side events, yay! Straight to battles. Stinger versus Panic Attack. Here we go.
This fight.
This is a fight where it's pretty much.
So honestly, a bit of a precursor to Fight Court, maybe. I think this is the one that I'm sitting out on. But what did you guys think? Honestly, like
I agree with the decision.
I do as well. I also think that the fact that a lot of people say, the explanation. I think that was more for Chaos 2 and Stinger. I think that this was just perfectly fine. There was no. Panic Attack couldn't control the fight, which is its greatest weapon. As a result, Stinger won. Very simple.
Yeah. I agree. It got way more hits with the hat. It got good hits with the hammer. Panic Attack Panic Attack was facing the robot that was probably the worst robot it could face. A robot you can't grab a hold of. It can't get its fork stuck in a wheel plate. It can't flip it over. It can't do anything.
For it to grab onto.
No, I mean, I kind of both in this fight and when Mousetrap tried to grab Stinger on multiple occasions, it's almost like Stinger was like a wet fish.
Yeah.
He just could not grab it at any point. It was just, it was mostly, the whole fight was mostly Panic Attack trying to do something, running into Stinger while Stinger was getting some good hits and intimidating him with the spinning of the axe a couple of times. And
there's only one robot that's
successfully...
Yeah.
There's only one robot that successfully grabbed a hold of Stinger, and that was Behemoth.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
And that Kill-Lot as well.
Oh yeah, well, Kill-Lot.
You know what I mean? Like one fighting in a fight, like yeah. But you know what I mean? Like that. It's just Stinger was. The only thing I would probably say that Panic Attack was better driven because it's Kim Davis.
Yeah.
But damage of that was going to go to Stinger because Panic Attack can't really do any damage with the forks, apart from really like poke. Aggression, unless Panic Attack he was trying to drive it aggressively, but Stinger was with its weapon spinning around, especially was just making it. Was basically just hitting it, like it was not giving Panic Attack the chance.
Yeah, actually, bear in mind that the whole fight was actually so close that Stinger won by just one aggression point.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that shows you how much of a fight this was, and I can't wait for the Fight Court episode in this one. I mean, especially with the format we use to kind of break the battles down, it'll be very interesting to see if my opinion changes. I don't know if it will. I agree that Stinger should have won, but you never know. Maybe the points might change things. You don't know. Yeah. All I can say is Stinger's probably getting the spectacle point, just for flying around all over the place. But yeah, that cemented Stinger's grand final place. And joining it was actually another great fight. Actually, it was Hypno Disc versus Wild Thing. This fight was
the thing was with this fight. Okay, it was.
The thing.
I reckon every other point except damage, Wild Thing probably won on. I imagine probably won on aggression, control, and style.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maybe not aggression, but it was probably close on aggression.
No, they're quite aggressive. Quite aggressive. I'd say
it was very close.
My thing is that, because damage was such a high weighting, as it would have just got so many points for damage, then there was literally no way that Wild Thing was gonna challenge. And I think I'm kind of glad that these days it's weighted more towards aggression than damage. But like at the time, you can only go on what the criteria was, and Wild Thing, despite having its axle all bent and its face ripped off and everything else, it gave a very good account of itself, and I think it was the only fight.
It was winning at the end of the fight.
Yeah,
it was the only fight in this whole series where Hypno Disc was actually challenged. I mean, obviously in the grand final, we'll get to that in a second, but until this point, Hypno Disc had no challenge at all. This was the first robot to resist it and not die.
Yeah,
and I mean the whole turning point in this battle, I think, where things started going a bit downhill was definitely when the wheel got buckled. Well, I mean, it didn't affect it as badly as something like Wheelie Cheese did, where it literally can't work once one of the wheels has been. But you could tell that this driving is a lot harder for him when he's trying to wobble it.
Well, the thing has a habit of breaking its axle.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
It does. I love the fact that constantly the spike, the lifting arm was constantly pointed upwards. Like, we know this thing's useless. We're just gonna use our wedge.
It was in a way it kind of looked like it had its hands up in the air. It was just running around screaming like ah.
I think the idea was so it didn't get ripped off. I think that was why they did it. But even still, it was.
But actually, I would definitely say that in terms of this semi-final, both of the second round battles were a lot better than the combined first round ones, because both are very close and both very, very fun battles. And
what I will say is that it's this fight that makes me think that Wild Thing should have got a higher seeding for Series 6.
It really should have.
Series 5.
Top 8 for God's sake. But
the reason why it didn't is because Razor. There you go.
Razor ruins everything.
It should have been in the top 6, honestly.
It really should have been. It should have been in the top 6 with Dominator 2, probably, but, Razor does stuff. But yeah, that was semi-final 2. Before we get to grand final, any quick thoughts about overall compared to the first semi-final?
The only reason, I think a lot of people, we've all said ourselves that, semi-1's better. I think the only reason is because, everyone went to the judges in semi-final 1. If I think, all the robots kept working throughout the whole fight, this would have been just as good. It's just that there were Spawn was immobilized and Panic, and Mousetrap died and Exterminator got flipped over, Splinter got eviscerated. Ultimately, they couldn't have gone to the judges those fights because of the robots and the conditions that they were in. Whereas in Semi-1 there was no KO weapons. There was no apart from Chaos 2, there was no weapon capable of knocking out a robot.
I agree. I mean, overall, the battles were just a little bit less kind of close. Overall, there's a lot of very one-sided battles, and again, the second round battles were definitely a lot better than the first round, just because both went to decisions, both were very tight, close battles, and overall, both. I mean, especially the Stinger and Panic Attack fight, it gets people debating who should have won in the first place, so it gets kind of a bonus because of that. But overall, I'd probably give it like maybe a 7.5 out of 10.
I'll give it an 8. It's a strong 8.
It's a strong episode. It's not bad. It's
Yeah,
just obviously just compared to the first one, you kind of get spoilt by semi-final 1, I guess.
So semi-final 1 is just so good in this series. I mean, in series 5 as well, it's really good. But in series 4, this is the best episode of the series.
It is a bit like it's like the same in series 5. Like semi-final 2 isn't necessarily that bad for series 5, but compared to series 1, I mean, compared to semi-final 1 in series 5, where like you have all of that stuff in semi-final 1.
Yeah, you just kind of feel like there's something missing, even though there probably isn't anything missing, really. But
apart from the Hypno Disc Dominator 2 fight.
Yeah, we'll get to that eventually.
Jesus. But
so anyway, Semi 2 was fine in the series. It's just that Semi 1 was so good. It's kind of difficult to.
It's definitely above average, but not compared to the first one. And then, of course, you have the grand final. Yay! The official end of Series 4 for the 5 specials that should have gone in between the series, but I'm not doing it because of time. I'm doing it because specials always go at the end, and except Extreme, which is all specials. So but yeah, we have our 4 grand finalists: Chaos 2, Hypnodisc, Pussycat, and Stinger, and yeah, these 4 have definitely managed to prove their worth.
They all earned their spot.
And also,
they've all at their spot, and as well as that, they're all so different. I mean, obviously, series 3, you had the 2 flippers, but they were very different. Stegosaurus, the pusher, and Hypnotist, the spinner. Once again, they're all very different.
I think it's stuff like this is why Series 9's grand final wasn't as good.
Yeah.
If you look at
Series 9.
Look back at all the other grand finals, it had a good variety of robots. I mean, this one you had a flipper, a saw, a mace, a flywheel. Series 3,
Series 8. Look at Series 8's grand final. You've got a drum, 2 flippers,
a
big
hammer,
spinning bar, an axe, a hammer axe, and then the bulldozer, which is Shockwave. But this is why obviously a lot of people have said Series 9 was a bit boring, but it's by the by. Anyway, Series 4, these 4 machines, they're all so different. I mean, the only similarities are obviously Pussycat and Hypnodisc have both got the spinning weapons, and Pussycat and Stinger are both sort of similar in the way that they attack, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because I'd say that Pussycat's sort of a thwack bot with a spinning weapon on the end.
And also, it's the only semi-final, only grand final where every robot is seeded. So that is also a little bonus for that. We have the first seeds, the second seeds, the 19th seeds, and the 30th seeds for some reason. But obviously, and this is a very strong lineup.
I gotta say, this grand final was decided by the draw.
True.
Yes.
And
had Pussycat fought Chaos 2 first, had the draw been any different? Like, had anyone fought Hypnodisc other than Pussycat? I think Hypnodisc would have won the whole thing. But
yeah.
So, seeing as though we've mentioned Pussycat versus Hypnodisc.
Yep. We're gonna cut all the filler. None of that.
Was it luck or was it skill?
I think it's both.
A mixture of both. Yeah.
Because
there's surely no way in hell that David thought, right, I was going to go straight forward. They're going to turn around. I'm going to hit their wheel. There's no way he's possibly thought. He can't predict that much.
Yeah.
With that said, he's so good at driving. He's so good at driving Pussycat. He got it,
in the best possible place.
Obviously, he was going to aim for, just go straight for it and just hope. And he got the best bit. He got it spot on.
Yeah,
it's just unbelievable. And then from then on in, it's just Hypnodisc.
Actually, if you notice during the fights, Hypnodisc actually got a good hit on Pussycat's blade and got it jammed into the armor.
Yeah.
So again, it was very much luck because if they missed that first hit against Hypnodisc, I'm sure Hypnodisc would have come back into it and with him and.
Well, judging how the I know it's not really a comparison, but it's the closest comparison I can think of between Fluffy and Pussycat in Series 5.
Oh, that was amazing.
And how after, the blade came off and Fluffy jammed up all the wheels with the disc and stuff, and it could, could only run a little bit. I imagine that would have gone the same way as this fight.
Or maybe the wheels just flat off coming off, mate, 'cause they're not the most strong wheels on Pussycat in the world.
Exactly.
Tornado ripped one off, but yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. And obviously, I think the most amazing though is when Shunt sticks his axe right in the disc.
Oh, the noise!
And lifts them both up into the air. They both just fly up into the air, and just imagine the force that went through both of those robots when that happened.
Also, you can hear the kind of death squeal coming from Hypnodisc's weapon.
Apparently, it was
jamming
because the motor's still spinning at that point. It's just wrecking itself internally.
Yeah, it was just torture for Hypnodisc to do that, and then obviously it was just that one hit. I mean, again, I still think that it was both luck and skill, but I think the reason why I can't call it 100% luck is because David Gribble has proven time and time again that this guy knows how to drive this machine properly. He is. I mean, again,
he's done it more. He's done it more times than not. Let's look at. He's destroyed Razor's wheels. He took out
Repteron with one. Took out the cable out. The gas cable out with one hit.
Took out
the Executioner.
Wheels, took out Dominator's wheels. It wasn't as if it was. I mean, obviously Hypnotist's wheels are very small, but the kid Nick clearly knows clearly knew how to drive the machine properly, and it was just. It was an incredible moment. I think, everyone... I remember watching it as a small boy thinking, no way has Hypno Disc...
Yeah.
There was, as I said, Hypno Disc was going to win the series. There was no way it was going to lose. How has it lost?
I'm sure it was the same reaction with everyone in the pits and the Pussycat was they're just it was in a similar way to the PP3D Behemoth fight where people are just this can't be happening.
Yeah, I just imagine in the control booth before it happened, Alan Gribble's are you sure you got this, son? And he's like, I've got this. Ding. Also, the little noise it makes when it hits the wheel as well, that kind of little clang noise.
Yeah.
You just knew something, and him just couldn't do anything after that. They were just in circles the entire time. And then the disc getting killed is one of the saddest things you can see. Something going right through the Hypnodisc disc.
Still proves how much of a badass Shunt is.
Yeah, he went straight into it. He didn't care, just looked straight through.
This was Shunt's last legitimately badass moment.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think Shunt's had a few.
Until Series 8.
Actually, Series 8, and also taking out. Also, it was badass, but just well timed, taking out Draven in Series 9.
Yeah, that's why I said until Series 8.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
I would say Shunt's got a few moments in Series 5, but yeah, Series 6 onwards, Shunt's apparently if Robot Wars wasn't cancelled after Series 7, Shunt was going to get a massive upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, he looked at that and saw it's not Major Tom's head, but it's good enough. Smash.
Yeah. It's the head of it's technically a head.
Actually, it's sort of I know you used an anime analogy before. It's sort of an anime where two characters, just run at each other, and he's we're just gonna take the hit and see who wins, and just punch each other. And Shunt came off the better in this particular case, only by a little bit. But yeah, Hypnodisc, as a result of this, couldn't really fight for a playoff, so they get the 4th spot.
Apparently, it was going to take 2 days to repair Hypno Disc.
They had not enough time for that. I mean, it's actually because last series also Stegosaurus was 2 batters that hit, so Firestorm got the 3rd place by definition.
Every time Hypno Disc is involved in a final, someone ends up too damaged and can't carry on.
And actually, and 2 of those 3
in Series 5.
In 2 of those 3 times, it was Hypnodisc who couldn't make it.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, but yeah, Hypnodisc took the 4th spot. And then the second decider to join Pussycat in the grand final battle, Stinger versus Chaos 2.
It was so nearly going to be Stinger versus Pussycat in the grand final.
Because Stinger caused damage.
I'm sorry, this decision. Oh boy, this is probably I know a lot of people in YouTube land and the internet in general think that Storm 2 versus Typhoon 2 is the biggest travesty since the dawn of time. I'm sorry, this fight here is the one that really grinds my gears. The fact that they say damage is equal at the end of the fight, no, I'm just what are you on? What was Noel Sharkey smoking?
No, also, what damage did Chaos 2 do to Stinger? What damage can Chaos 22 do? It's a flipper.
Don't get me wrong, okay. Control, okay, fair enough.
I can understand that, yeah. Aggression, they were both very aggressive.
I think Stinger was just the superior robot in this fight. They said before the fight, oh yeah, we're going to take the backplate off.
They did.
Yeah,
they did exactly that.
Actually,
if you see Chaos 2 after this fight, Chaos 2 is battered.
Yeah, they all
Stingers look still shiny.
Also, they did have some bad moments of control where they drove into CPZs a few times. Chaos 2 as well. They weren't there were some moments where they could have lost points of control. And I still think, considering how high weighted damage was, you'd think you would never see if it wasn't even. Stinger would have won this hands down. I mean, if Dominator 2 can beat Firestorm, Panic Attack can be beaten by Stinger. Stinger can beat Chaos 2 in the same reason, but. I'm starting to think. I mean, I'm not saying this is the reason. Was it? Do you think possible champion bias, maybe?
Well, we saw it earlier in the series with Bolt from the Blue and Firestorm, but I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. I also think as well that it was a hard fight to call. Like, not saying, as much as I think that Stinger, I feel, should have won, I think, it wasn't cut and dry. But
no.
I mean, even Craig said in the interviews, like, this was the longest time they've ever taken on a decision.
Yep.
And there's a reason why. It was a very, very good battle, but I still think, really, I mean, that damage decision still sounds really shady.
But anyway.
Yeah, it can't do anything about it. 17 years ago.
They rode their luck with Panic Attack. So, and this is also the first ever time Chaos 2 hasn't KO'd an opponent. How crazy is that?
Also, yeah, because I was very surprised. It just shows you how hard Stinger is to get. That he didn't flip him out at any point. Because it shows you, Stinger is just a very hard robot to get a hold of. No matter if you've got a flipper, a crusher, or a lifter. You can't do. Yeah, you really just need a spinner to take out Stinger. Really.
Yeah. Should we talk about the awards that they gave out?
We can if you want to. I mean, briefly before we go to the grand final.
Briefly.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's some obvious ones that are the obvious ones. Obviously, Sumo goes to Panic.
Gemini.
Oh yeah, Gemini swept the awards. They were like they were the Oscar winner.
It was like Gemini was Lord of the Rings, and the awards were the Oscars.
They really were. It was just like and the best design goes to.
What was it? They won 3 of the 6 awards.
Yeah, they won best design, the pinball, and most original entry. Yeah, 3. Imagine if also the best.
Most original, without a doubt.
Yeah. Best design. I can see that. I can see it, but there are some robots I think could have maybe won a bit better. Because when they say best design, do they mean best design for combat or best design aesthetically?
Because obviously, I'd have given best design to Pussycat, but
like I think there should be. I always think in retrospect there should be in 2 categories. Like for engine in terms of like combat ability.
Well, they had a best engineered category, didn't they? Then that was won by Steel Avenger. But anyway,
again, like.
Oh yeah.
Dominator 2 wasn't even nominated
for some reason.
Which had CNC parts, which is unheard of in these days.
Also, you got to be kidding me. The best engineering award goes to Dark Destroyer 2's Wagglers. Come on, that's a lot of engineering in there. And also, the other one was the best newcomer. Who could that be? I wonder.
Yeah. Well, why did they put Robo Chicken in there? Robo Chicken, why?
Robo Chicken got to the second round, unlike Attila the Drum.
Oh yeah, Attila.
Let's think. Mousetrap wasn't a newcomer. All right, then let's go with another Heat finalist. Little Fly was a Heat finalist.
No.
I know, but still, the Morgue Heat finalist. Atomic Heat finalist.
Fair enough. Atomic could have potentially maybe.
But anyway.
But yeah,
we're delaying the inevitable here.
Yep, it's the grand final, and of course it is Chaos 2. The first seeds and reigning champion versus Pussycat, the 19th seeds.
And the Razor, the robot that took out
the Eraser.
Yeah.
If you think about it, Pussycat seeded 19, but they took out the 2nd and 3rd seed of the series.
Yeah, that's true. And ironically, one robot that's beaten Chaos 2, and one that's beaten Razor, and one robot that got beaten by Razor. And
honestly, I think this was again a lot closer than what the judges' decision came in as, because obviously they just said, "Oh, Chaos 2 wins on all points." But
no,
Chaos 2 was battered at the end of this fight as well.
I'd say damage. Definitely, Pussycat got the vote for that one because it's. I mean, I don't get how they can say it's all equal because it's.
I think the only problem that I think Pussycat had in this fight, I think, had it not happened, the fight could have gone the other way. The blade stopped.
Yes, that's what I was going to be like. That was the moment that really turned. It was when the blade stopped because they had nothing left. I mean, they couldn't. They even had trouble. They even had trouble self-writing after that.
Yeah.
Stuck at the side for a long time.
The blade was designed to self-right the robot. It couldn't self-right.
Yeah,
they were kind of stuck.
There's an awkward 15 seconds where they're just kind of like on the side, and you can tell some of the house
flopping over.
Yeah, and some of the house robots are like, do we help? Do we attack it? Do we help them? Ref, are they immobilized?
They're still moving.
Oh, actually, in the case of Robot Wars Arena of Destruction, it would be. Bloody hell. Yeah. But
in case of Robot Arena, you're on your back, but your disc is still making you crawl along the arena. You're still mobile.
Clearly, but yeah, this was definitely obviously a lot way closer than last series because there wasn't a knockout in this one, and
now
also
begins the trend of every grand final going to the judge's decision until series 9.
and it's funny because apart from series 6, series 7, oh boy. Actually, no, apart from series 5, series 6 and 7 are going to be very interesting.
Hotly debated.
Tornado did nothing wrong. Razor did nothing right. But it was, this one was definitely not as aggravating as the Stinger and Chaos 2 one. But I think it is a little bit egregious to say that every point was equal when it clearly wasn't.
Personally, I think that Pussycat didn't deserve to win. I think Chaos 2 deserved to win the fight.
It was definitely deserving, yes, I agree with that.
But I think it was...
It was a very fun fight.
I think it was close. It was closer than what they said it was. But anyway, I think that's
so far our only defending champion to win it again.
You never know. Carbide Series 10.
Yeah. I mean, well, in the TV rounds, I believe Eruptions defended the title.
Oh yeah, on the live show.
It's the only one. It won in 2012 and 13.
Yeah.
So maybe in terms of TV, maybe we'll finally see someone defend their title. Maybe they'll do it.
I know, but
or maybe Carbide will go out in the first round.
Who knows?
We'll
find out, I'm sure, in a few months.
Well, I have seen the scoreboard, and Worm has decided to come back in. I think they might beat them.
Yeah.
If they do that, if they randomly got put in as a reserve after being beaten up, they could beat Carbide.
Oh no, you can't deny the power of Donald Thump.
Oh, Draven maybe.
Yeah.
Actually, anyway, this is gonna be
Nightshade 2.
it's just a
Electric Boogaloo.
But yeah, that was the grand final and semi-final too. This grand final, obviously, like every grand final, is just mostly filler and awards.
Yeah.
Like, so 3 battles, but God, I mean, people think some American BattleBots pad things out. This is just every grand final is just like this. So you have to get used to it.
I think Series 5's grand final is the best.
I think Series 5's grand final is the best episode of Robot Wars, period. But we'll get to that eventually.
That is a very great grand final. I'm so thankful for Series 8 and 9 not having really thanks to the amount of robots and stuff, not actually having a really fillerish grand final. So
yeah, I know, right? I
can at least appreciate that. But yeah, this was a very, very good way to end the series, albeit with one dubious decision, one super lucky hit, which gave Mr. Psycho's award of the No Scope Award. Yeah. This Series 4 is, in terms of the main series, canon series, officially over. We got the awards, of course, but we're doing those in a separate episode.
And I believe I'm so right in saying this is the peak of Robot Wars with Series 4.
It was definitely. I think I noticed if you get a lot of people who watch the show from the beginning, this is when they start maybe tapering off around Series 5 Extreme. I mean, I watched it.
This is the series that that took it from being like a sort of a show which was about robots to a show which was an entertainment show.
Yeah.
And I think that this series kind of propelled the show in a new direction. Some people liked it, some people didn't like it. Obviously,
I mean, this was when Robot Wars got its highest ever ratings of about, I think it was like 6.1 million.
Wow.
People watched Robot Wars at this point, so
it was top of the world at this point.
Yeah.
It really was, and obviously
you could see why BBC decided, okay, let's take the show global.
Yeah.
After this series.
Yeah, and we all know how well some of the other old international series went. Well, more so, and the Dutch one was okay. Extreme Warriors was passable.
German one lasted one series.
Yeah, and there's probably a reason why, because the robot that won it was the only good robot in the entire German series. So
Tsunami was awesome. What are you on about?
Are you? Are you sure?
Tsunami was incredible. What are you on about?
Series 7 of Tsunami, yes.
Great. Anyway, we'll move on.
Well, there's not much else to move on to, really. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, I mean...
I guess just thoughts overall about Series 4. I mean,
for me personally, this was the first full series I watched, so this is the one I know the most about.
Series 3 was the first one I watched, but this was based... I can see why people say it's the best series of Robot Wars ever. I'm not personally one of them. I think it's Series 5. But I can understand, because like this, if you compare it to Series 3, Series 1 and Series 2...
Especially Series 2.
It's miles better.
Especially Series 2.
My thing with this is, like... I think it says a lot about Series 4 when Jim first contacted me and said, oh yeah, I'm doing the classic series for reviews, would you like to come and join me? In Series 1, 2, and 3, I have to go back and watch Heats to remember it. I know all of Series 4 perfectly. I have not had to watch a single episode back to know what happened because it's just stuck in my memory. And the reason is because the series for me was like the one that resonated the most. When it comes to Series 5, I know a lot of the later series, the Heat Files and the semis, because that's obviously stuck in my head as a kid. But Series 4 for the time was incredible, and there's so many different twists and turns. Razor going out early and stuff like that. It was a great series, and I think
I think it's the case of this was the last big leap in robot quality that Robo Wars took.
Yeah, because
obviously 7 and 8 as well.
Yeah,
obviously, but
but things started stay in a similar area from Extreme 1 onwards. I mean, right down the fact the graphics were always the same, the music changed and didn't. They kept that same music for the rest of the classic series, and obviously that's when things started changing. Obviously, definitely in some ways for the better, but I mean, personally for me, this was the last series I watched all the way through during its initial run, because for some reason I watched a bit of Extreme, and then I somehow missed Series 5 completely. Don't ask me how. And then Series 6 is back on. All right, I'll just start watching this.
Oh, Razor one.
Yeah, that was my first thought. But then I think I stopped watching Series 6 midway through, and I was just like, I don't like this.
I know exactly the episode that made me not turn off Robot Wars, but it was the episode that maybe goes I might miss the next episode, was the Spawn Again Heat in Series 6. I
can understand that. That was a.
Can I do that one? Please let me do that one.
I'm sure. I'll definitely remember to note you down for that one when we start. I'll start covering Series 6 once I've got at least for most of Series 5 before I start reserving seats for Series 6. But. Yeah, Series 4, I mean, obviously, the difference between Series 4 to Extreme 1 is that you can tell it's so different, it's so obvious how things are different, right down to the graphics, the music, the robots, quality, in a way, have improved. Some robots didn't improve, Napalm, but, majority of them...
Napalm did improve, but not enough.
But
anyway,
not enough.
That's enough of Series 4.
Yeah, enough of Series 4, obviously. The awards will be done in a separate episode, which will... probably recording soon in a sec, obviously, but unlike in previous ones where where I just gave you the nominations and there's a lot of which one should I pick? There's no in advance. This time I actually thought it'd be professional. I'll give Alex the nominations in advance and tell him which one he wants to pick.
Well, we should at least talk about the nominations at least.
Oh, well, we will. We'll talk about the nominations, but then obviously I'll give the real reason why. Alex tells the reason why he chose his particular choice.
I wonder who the piece of shit is going to.
I don't know who the rust in pieces will be either. That'll be really hard. But join us for the awards where we get on your tuxedos, start making your long actors award speech, thank all your directors. Get your
Jesus Christ, you've got an orchestra trapped in this basement now.
Thank the producers and directors of Robot Wars.
Is that the London Cinematic Orchestra?
Oh, Philharmonic. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure I'll bring them in somewhere.
Yeah.
But can't wait for that.
Stephen Fry, hello.
And the award for piece of shit goes to. I could imagine saying that at award ceremony. Anyway, I'm Jimjamatic for the last time in the main series of Series 4. Signing off.
I'm Alexthehunted.
I knew it was going to happen. You go first, Alex.
I'm Alexthehunted, getting ready to put on my tux.
Yay.
And I'm SamElliott64, and I'm going to disappear into whatever hole I crawled out of.
You can come back for the awards. Don't worry if you want to.
I am. Oh, sweet.
If you want to.
If you want to. I'm not saying you can't.
Okay.
All right, fair enough. Give a bit of a break if we go back to the box. All right, folks. See you for the award ceremony, and bye bye.